How is it going, YouTube? Mo Sports Network back again today. We're almost done. Number 2 team in my NFL preseason power rankings. We're talking about the Baltimore Ravens. I guess I didn't have my usual screen up. Let's flip over here. They were 14-2 last season. They won the NFC or the AFC North, and then they lost right away in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson still looking for that playoff win against the Titans. And I think this team is going to be really freaking good again. And they're going to have a chip on their shoulder, and they're going to play with one. I think John Harbaugh, don't have his picture up or the rest of the coaching staff, but I think John Harbaugh has this team ready. John Harbaugh is an excellent coach. Again, I was talking about Mike Tomlin. Same goes for John Harbaugh. I don't think people realize how badly we would kill for John Harbaugh in Cincinnati or Cleveland. I was asking for Jim Harbaugh in Cincinnati just to see that matchup between them every year, twice a year. But really like John Harbaugh, and we're going to talk about diving into this team right away and talking about it. We have Lamar Jackson. Insane season last year. Can he replicate it? I don't think so. I think more people are going to have him figured out, but he is one of the most interesting talents I have watched play this game. Not to compare him to Michael Vick. I don't even want to, because he is, I think, a lot better of a player than Vick was so far in his career. I don't know what to compare him to. He is an anomaly. He is ridiculous. Really high on Lamar Jackson. Really like him as a quarterback. Top 3 quarterback in the game right now. I think he's third behind Mahomes and Wilson. But Lamar is just a beast. If he goes down, RG3, Trace McSorley's season's over. So, bit of a worry with him running the ball so much, but Lamar Jackson is a freak of nature, and he is one of the best players in the NFL right now. So, we have him here as the QB1. I'm going to pause real quick, plug in my computer. The battery's dying, and I'll be right back with you guys. All right, I'm back. We go right into the running backs now, talking about them. So we have Mark Ingram and J.K. Dobbins as the 2 running backs for this team. Also, Gus Edwards is an interesting change of pace back other than those guys. But Ingram and Dobbins, I have a strong belief they are going to be one of the strongest 1-2 punches in the league. Mark Ingram, since he's been to Baltimore, has been superb. Great for the multiple seasons he's been here. Really like what I've seen from him so far. And then J.K. Dobbins was my favorite running back in this draft, even over Clyde Edwards-Helaire, DeAndre Swift, Jonathan Taylor, etc. So really like both of these guys together. And then Gus Edwards has been nothing but consistent in Baltimore so far. So I think these 3 guys make up a really good running back room, and they are going to really complement Lamar's running style very well. So really like this group here. Now, there are some negatives about this team, and I think receiving is one of them. So you have Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, had a solid rookie season, teamed up with Lamar well. You also have Willie Snead, who, again, is a consistent receiver, really works well with Lamar, is good. Other than him, it's a lot of question marks and things that I think need to go well to really work. So Miles Boykin, I think he is an okay receiver. I think Lamar makes him look a lot better than he is. I'm hoping Lamar can do that again. Miles Boykin is this team's 3rd receiver. Between him, the rookies, Devin Duvernay and James Prochet, I think one of them should be good enough to complement Brown and Snead. And then again, the one thing I'm really worried about is this team hasn't really been able to replace Steve Smith since he left Baltimore. I think they're still looking for their Steve Smith. If Marquise Brown can step up and become that this year, I don't know what's stopping this team, to be honest. But it is a concern that they don't really have a true number 1 receiver in my eyes. To be this high in my rankings, I think you need that. And I think Baltimore is lacking it as of now, though Marquise Brown, I think, can become it. Also, they have a true number 1 tight end, I think top 4 tight end in the league in Mark Andrews, and a solid backup in Nick Boyle. Interesting, they're only carrying 2 tight ends on the roster. But Mark Andrews proved last year he works really well with Lamar Jackson. I think he is a top 4 or 5 tight end in the league. Really liked him coming out of Oklahoma. I think he's continuing to play well. And then we go over to the offensive line. I'm pretty impressed with them pretty much as far as you can go. The only one I'm a little concerned about is DJ Fluker replacing Marshall Yonda. I think that's a steep drop off for Jackson. But Fluker has been average. He's been all right in the NFL so far, and the rest of the line, Stanley and Brown in particular, a really good tackle duo, and I think Bozeman and Skura are able to get the job done overall. And then I think between Fluker and Ben Powers, you're going to figure out right guard eventually. You can rotate guys if something's not working necessarily, but I don't think this offensive line is going to struggle by any means. I think they're probably going to be dealing with, especially with Stanley and Brown being so good, a top 12, maybe probably top 10 line in the league, especially because Lamar is going to make them look better than they are just because of how well he can navigate the pocket, manipulate things, and just get out and scramble. I don't think this offensive line is going to be an issue for this team by any means. That's really the main reason to talk about offensive line, is if they're going to be an issue at the end of the day. So overall, my only issue with this offense is their lack of a true number one receiver. I just haven't seen Hollywood Brown do it week to week yet. If he can, though, this team is golden. So we move on to the defense. Just with that one concern lingering, I still think Baltimore with Lamar Jackson is going to have an insane offense again this year. Defense-wise, year after year, John Harbaugh is going to put out a great defense. You have Derek Wolfe, Brandon Williams, Calais Campbell, Matt Judon in this base. They have a base 3-4 here. I don't believe they're going to play that. I'm going to flip over to PFF or to give you a better sample of what you're going to see down to down. I'm going to cover up my face cam just for a second. Don't cry. Just so you can get a good look at this. So I can talk about it this way. Calais Campbell, interior, and then you're going to have Matt Wolfe next to him. Probably one of the best interior duos in the game. And then you're going to have Tyus Bowser and Matt Judon as well rushing the passer. I think Judon is definitely above average as far as a pass rusher goes. And I think Bowser, he has developed well year after year. I think he's going to become this team's next really solid pass rusher. They've been developing them year after year at this point. I think overall, these four guys are going to make up a really good defensive line. This Calais Campbell pickup was huge. I'm then talking about the two linebackers this team's mainly going to run. Rookie Patrick Queen, loved him coming out of LSU. The more I watch him, the more I like what he does. And then you're going to have Levine here as well as that dime backer. Again, as I've been saying the last couple ones, this defensive line and this secondary have how insane it is. I think it will make up slightly for a bit of a weaker group, especially a learning rookie in Patrick Queen. But I think between these two guys, they get the job done at linebacker. I think they will at least be good enough, although this team is still missing C.J. Mosley, I believe. Secondary, probably one of the best corner groups in the league, just base level. I'm going to go back to the roster now and minimize this here so you can see my face again. Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters, and then Jimmy Smith. Smith and Peters are going to play the outside. They've both been exemplary on what to do covering corner as a covering corner on the outside. Smith, Peters, and then Humphrey in the slot. All are going to be on islands, and it's going to make their linebackers and their defensive line so much easier because they are going to be so good at being able just to cover their man that they can get better looks, different interesting looks as far as blitzes, what the linebackers can do, and how the pass rush can work. That's obviously hand in hand with blitzes. I'm struggling with my words right now. I've recorded a bunch of these videos back to back. So really like that. And then obviously the big news from this team is that they cut Earl Thomas, and Chuck Clark, the guy he actually got in the fight with, is going to start in his place. Him and Deshaun Elliott, I think, is a bit of a drop-off, to be honest, as far as this. I mean, not even to be honest, it just is a bit of a drop-off between Tony Jefferson and Earl Thomas. But I think I really liked what I saw from Elliott last year. I didn't see much of Chuck Clark, but if I know anything about John Harbaugh, these guys will be ready to go. And I know for a lot of these teams, they haven't been given players benefits of the doubt, but I just think as far as Raven defensive players go, I'm going to give them benefit of the doubt more often than not. Another thing I forgot to mention, just their linebacker depth. They have Pernell McPhee and Jalen Ferguson, who can both play linebacker, also can rush the passer pretty well. And you also have LJ Fort as another interior linebacker for this team. So they have lots of options to work with. Also, shout out to Geno Stone out of Iowa. Good steal for this team late in the draft. I think he was like a 4th-round player. They got him in like the 7th. So good steal there by the Ravens. I think he'll play some bit this year. So really like the defense yet again. I don't think there's many holes here at all, unless Patrick Queen struggles a lot his rookie season. We go into the schedule, and I think they're going to be exemplary again. So I think they beat the Browns and the Texans to start the year, and then they go into this Chiefs game. I think they lose. I think the Chiefs are slightly better than this team. They are my number 1 team. Shocker. The Chiefs over the Ravens here. And then I have them rattling off some wins. They beat Washington, beat Cincinnati. I think they can beat Philly, and I think they're going to split with Pittsburgh. But I have this here, rattling off 4 straight wins. They're going to be 6-1 going into their bye week. I think they're going to have a bit of a struggle here coming out of the bye against Indy. I think Phillip Rivers and the Colts are going to be ready for this game. Going into that game, you can't win them all. I think this is one of my upsets I'm predicting this year. I think the Colts can beat the Ravens, and I have the Ravens. I think I said this in the Colts video as well. Then I have the Ravens beating the Patriots, beating the Titans, then losing one of the Steelers. I think they split the Steelers, and with the Browns, I think they sweep Cincinnati as far as this division is concerned. But other than losing to those Steelers and Browns here, I think they win the rest of these games. And it's impressive. Beating the Ravens, Cowboys, I guess the Jags, Bengals, Giants aren't that concerning. But that little stretch there of beating the Titans and Cowboys and Patriots all within 3 weeks or 3 of 4 weeks, I think is going to be really impressive. And this team is going to get some big wins this season. And I think they're going to play with a chip on their shoulder. I think John Harbaugh can get things done in the playoffs. Also, interesting playoff matchup here. Just a shout out. Facing the Browns in the first round because Kansas City has the first round bye. That could be a trap game for Baltimore again. And if Cleveland comes back to the playoffs and beats Baltimore, Lamar Jackson's never going to hear the end of it. But I think they will be playing with a chip on their shoulder this year. And I think there's a very good chance not only do they make the playoffs as a top seed, I think they can win the Super Bowl. I haven't really said that about any teams this year often, especially the NFC teams because it's such a jumble and I don't really want to project. But I think Baltimore is a very, very strong pick, especially because we haven't seen back-to-back Super Bowl champs in a long time. I think Baltimore would not be a bad Super Bowl pick right now, and I don't think that's a hot take by anyone. So, again, really like Baltimore. Think they can win the Super Bowl. Gonna stop beating a dead horse now and wrap this video up. I have been Mo Sports Network. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you press the like button. If you really liked it, make sure you subscribe. I forgot my outro for a second. Jesus. If you didn't like it, make sure you comment below. Tell me why. I love talking with you guys in the comments. That's all from me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. And we're going to talk about the Chiefs. It's not a surprise who's number 1. We'll talk about the Chiefs next time. So, peace out, guys.